Learn Chess Academy, myself, Max and Nav.
Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast. It's Simon here.
It's Rachel here.
Please like, share and subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Cherrywood Podcast. As you can see, Rachel ain't here because we're having a lads' night. We're here with the old boys, the old, the hardcore chess people. So they're Learn Chess Academy. And we've got James, Max and Navi. All right, so I'm terrible with names, which is why I have this here, so I can quickly glance at it. So, lads, tell us about the Learn Chess Academy, which my son went to for a spell, didn't he, James?
That's right, Simon. He did indeed. He went to our Medway Junior Chess Club, Ted was getting on brilliantly during the sessions and having a lot of fun with him as well. He loved winning. He hated losing, but they all do. And I was going to say he seemed to really enjoy it. So I believe he's now back off doing a bit of karate as well.
Karate's his thing. Yeah, he loves a bit of karate. So how did it start, guys? Who was the one? Was it one of you guys that started the actual company up? Or?
Wasn't any of us. Yeah. No. Do you want to tell him about Mr. Julian?
So the company started in around 2014 by Julian, who is the founding director of the company. And then I joined him in 2015, and James, it was 2017.
Yeah, back in.
Gosh. And then Nav joined us 2 years ago.
2022. Yeah.
So absolutely. I hear you're the Messi of chess. Is that right?
He is. Trust me. Yeah. So he's very, very good.
Is he Argentinian/Italian?
Yes,
correct?
Argentinian/Italian. Argentinian for South America, Italian for Europe.
Right. He's very humble, actually. Top 2.5% worldwide is his ranking.
My goodness.
Basically.
I know you're just Messi, James. Is that right?
Well, maybe I'm top 7-8%. I might be like. I don't know who I'd be as a footballer. I wouldn't be Ronaldo. Peter Crouch, okay. I'll live with that, yeah. Nice and tall, yeah. I'll sort of do the headbutt, on the chest piece.
Do you like robot when you've won?
I try.
It's a new celebration of that.
I do my best.
Never thought about doing the robot after a game.
Today's sponsors are Medici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on demediciassociates.com.
Right at Home Medway, providers of safe and trusted quality care for adults in the comfort of their own home. Whether you need companionship, medication assistance, personal care, living care or more, we've got you covered. Visit rightathome.co.uk/Medway or call them on 01634 979 000.
Put your business in front of 30,000 new customers with the Hindsight Directory. This A5 full-colour magazine is delivered by Royal Mail to Maidstone, Gravesend, Medway and Bromley, with more areas to come. Visit hindsightdirectory.co.uk. Need stunning video or photography for your big day or even your business? Cherrywood Production delivers award-winning results with a personal touch. From weddings to promotional content, we turn your vision into reality. Visit cherrywoodpro.com today. Your memories, our passion. And Nav, tell me about yourself.
I've actually got a FIDE title. It's the lowest title that you can get, but I'm very proud of it. It's called Academy Arena Candidate Master, so ACM. So I actually got a FIDE title. So
FIDE title?
FIDE title.
Oh, FIDE.
FIDE's like the governing body of chess, kind of like the FA.
The international body of chess.
So I've got and then the highest level is the Grandmaster. But so online.
Amazing. I thought you was doing like a marathon 3 days.
Oh, yeah. So it feels like
that. Goes on longer than that, though, sometimes, doesn't it?
Feels like that when you've played classical chess, because I went to a tournament in Hastings, and I'm sure you guys have been there too, and you play 3 games in a day, and each game can last 3 hours, so it's quite a marathon, like 9 hours worth of chess.
Would you class that as a long game, a 3-hour game then? Classical.
It is.
So classical's like Test cricket, I would say, and then 2020 is when you're using the timer. What's that called? It's not called speed chess though, is it?
Blitz, rapid chess. So whatever is a shorter time, and that usually an hour and 15, an hour and a half.
I think the standard really to recognise a really good chess player by, and this is what we base our coaches on. I mean, the coaches have got to have the aptitude to be able to teach and the enthusiasm to be able to put it over to the children in a fun way. But the key thing from our perspective, you know, is making sure that somebody is at a level also that they can coach. That isn't the most important thing, but in terms of the level that we sort of look for, it's that standard classic game level, because in a 3-hour-long match, which is generally the minimum, so an hour and a quarter each way plus 15 seconds every time you hit the clock, so you gain a bit of time. Right. That is kind of like the level, and that's where people can take an awful lot of time over the moves and find the ultimate move, and that is where obviously all our grades are based on. So, you know, like I say, when he's top 2.5%, we're not just talking on a quick play grade, because quick play is very
volatile, volatile.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. It's volatile. Whereas the standard long play classic games are, a lot more difficult to play, because people are finding the ultimate GM or Grandmaster move, if you like. And so, that's what we base our grades on. That's why when we say we're all top 10% globally ranked, that is actually true.
So how many moves ahead would you say you're planning then on the classic compared to the speed?
It's a tricky
But it is a funny thing, because so for example, when you take your time to calculate, that's when it comes this idea of foreseen moves. Sometimes, you know, you can go, I usually don't go too deep, and I will tell you why. But Grandmaster usually see 20 plus, and then you can see 7, 8 ahead. But it's not about how many moves ahead you see. It's about the quality of the moves that you see. So there used to be this chess player a long time ago, Julian, and he used to say, I only see one move ahead, but I see the best one.
Yeah.
So it's not about how many, of course you need to calculate and take your time, but it's about understanding, and that's where
as soon as your opponent's made his move, that's going to change your next 19 planned anyway, isn't it?
That's true.
Absolutely.
100%.
It's pattern recognition, basically.
Right.
That's what we're after. So it's a case of actually diagnosing the position itself so that you see what is actually going on the board. And from doing as you probably remember when I was doing this, or when I should say, we're doing this with Ted up at Medway Junior Chess Club, it was a case of quite literally doing your DNA, your defense and attack. So you're actually looking at everything that's defending, everything that's attacking, and then looking for the right sort of move at that point in time on the board. And that sort of trains people in their everyday lives to be patient enough to actually analyse things before making a leap or putting their foot in it and saying the wrong thing.
Okay.
It's a very useful tool to have.
No, that's good. So
chess.
Let's talk about everyday lives. Do you guys have other jobs that you do? Do you want to talk about what jobs you actually do in general, or you're not full-time chess players, surely, are you? Or some of you?
We are full-time.
Are you all full-time chess players?
Well, Max and I are totally full-time on it, and Nav is one of our chess coaches that comes in and participates, don't you, Nav?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So you better tell them about your other life, as it were.
Yeah, but I also do transport consultancy, so in the city, so help companies with their ground transport solutions and technology. And then in my part-time, chess is really my passion. Love playing chess, love coaching the kids too. So yeah, that's really good.
Brilliant. That sounds amazing.
It's all, I was going to say that for us, mainly for the 3 main parts of the business, and again, every coach that joins us, what we really looking for is that we've been marked by the game. So the game left a mark on us. I'm trying to find another word for it.
I think I know what you're trying to say.
But what I'm trying
impression.
impression. Yes.
As a young age, I imagine. How old were you guys when you all sort of...
So that's the funny part, because I, for example, you started playing chess. My parents used to take me to a chess club when I was 7, and I done chess for 2 years. I never got it. I just knew how the pieces move. That's as far as I went.
That's where I am.
Yeah. But funny part, so what happened is I done the 2 years. I had all the support from my family, so they used to take me to tournaments, and I used to go and play everywhere. And that the only thing that kept happening, it was me losing. I just, I can't remember even winning one game.
Was that losing, you said then?
Losing. Losing games.
So it's just his
I thought he said loosening.
No, sorry.
What's he loosening? That's half the trouble.
got better
Just
over the years.
concentrate on the game. Don't loosen stuff.
So I quit chess, and then when I was around 20, a couple of my friends came to pick me up to go to the pub, and they say to me, "Do you have a chessboard?" So I start laughing. I'm thinking, why do you want a chessboard for? And they say, "Well, we can have a drink, and we can play chess." So
Was this in England?
no, this was back in Argentina before I moved here. So when I was, we were having a drink, they were playing the game. Things start clicking inside my brain. Things start really making sense. Oh, you did this because of this. Oh, you went there because of that. And I just got fascinated by that, by trying to find the why behind moves. And after that, again, that ignited passion in me. And even though I got a degree in marketing and advertising, I couldn't be bothered to anything else. I used to spend hours just sitting on a table with the boards and the clocks and the books, and I spent hours just watching YouTube, reading books, understanding, doing tactics, strategy. And I think after that, my life changed. That has a massive impact about what goals I was pursuing in my life and what do I really wanted to do. So back in Argentina, I was living with my parents, had 2 jobs, I had my own car. It was the comfy life, but I didn't have a really meaning for me at that point. And that's why I say, I really want to pursue something that means to me. And that made me and pushed me to get out of my comfort zone. And that's when I just moved to England. I was going to go and live in Brazil, funny enough. There is a massive change.
Quite different.
Yeah.
There's still all the UK. Rio or Maidstone or...
A tan or freezing.
Let me think that.
And then
And why are you here?
Maidstone it is then. Come on, let's do it.
my cousin was living here, and then that's why I just say, I just go there and see how it goes. And again, I start working for a company not chess related at all, and then I met Julian playing chess. But funny enough, and this is sometimes I say the way the universe works, no? Because the first official match between clubs that we have, it was against Maidstone, and there were 6 boards, and out of the 6 boards, I just play against the only person who was running a chess company. That's the crazy part in a way from my side. And then he asked me what I was doing. I'm working for this company. I want to start teaching chess. I was planning to start asking or to offering my services in schools until he said to me, "Oh, I teach chess in schools." And that's how we started. We started with 2 schools. We moved to around 4. And then Jane joined us. We started looking more professional, more like a business. And that's when we moved to around 15, 16 schools. And then, of course, we kept expanding.
That's what I was going to ask. What's a typical day like for full-time chess, for a full-time chess company employees, basically?
I'll answer that on our behalf. So, Max, myself and Julian are basically full-time, though Julian is more like the CEO, really. He obviously has a whole range of things.
Did Julian Bottle come in on the podcast, is it?
No, not at all.
Oh, is it?
He's probably out teaching somebody to drive because he also teaches people to drive.
Right, okay.
Via
It's because you're for your best looking
driving school. We're basically the best looking ones. Yeah, that's it. So I said it's going to have to be myself, Nav, and Max, of course. It goes without saying.
You are all 3 definitely the pin-ups of chess.
We'd like to think so, but joking apart, from like Max said, from the point of view of what's a typical day like in at Learn Chess Academy, it is crazily busy now. So when I came on board late 2017, my role was to try and give it more of a professional edge, and I was very because I'm getting older and older, you see. So I've had all this experience of running my own marketing business. So that's why Max and I are very powerful behind the scenes, because we can do a lot of promotion and put out those messages to people. Those messages that were a secret before are now out there, and people are realising it's great for concentration, memory recall, retention, analysis, planning, discipline, even behaviours. It moderates behaviours. So a typical day, for us is literally full on. There was a whole host of things for me to do when I originally came in, but Max and I got together on it, and we created a lot of marketing, a lot of new adverts, a new image, new branding. It's about making chess fun, because chess is actually a lot of fun. But it's not just about the fun side of chess. It is literally giving skills to children every day of the week. So behind the scenes, and our typical day is making sure that we're getting the coaches in the right place at the right time. If one person's off ill, then suddenly... yeah, we're up shit creek without a paddle. Basically, you're like, oh, goodness me, we've got that school to get a coach to. We believe in guaranteeing continuity. And that's when, in the background, it's either myself or Max that are generally picking up the phone or texting people like crazy going, can you do today? Can you fill in today? And yes, fortunately, because we've got this team of about 20 plus now, we can. And, we make sure that school is covered. Very, very little of the time do we actually cancel. So, which brings me to the point that up until now, chess has been run very sporadically by people, generally volunteers, which doesn't always work, because sadly a volunteer gets sick, a volunteer goes on holiday, a volunteer gets fed up, a volunteer sometimes feels taken for granted, a volunteer can just literally disappear off the face of the planet.
They've got no connection, no ties.
Correct.
Yeah.
With
no
us,
compromise.
Yeah, that's it. With us, we've made it professional, and as you can see, now we've got a real company in place that can deliver all the action to the whole community, schools, individuals, even companies, specialist events, the whole works. So in the background, like I say, apart from the marketing, we're constantly on the phone, when an advert's gone out, taking the calls, emails, messages that come in on every single platform. We're always having to comply with DBSing, so disclosure barring service, child protection, safety requirements, compliance in other areas. There's lots of other courses that we have to do for the schools, which is fine, because we've got three customers, essentially. We've got schools, we've got parents, and we've got the end user, which is the child. Yeah. Or an adult, because we're
businesses.
Yeah, we do business as well. We actually do business. Building. Yeah, team building, correct, for a company up in Sloane Street, up in London. Right. And we go in there of an evening and
we run the chess club for them.
So are you covering the UK, or you at the moment, or you Kent and London, or?
Well, go on.
Yes,
Argentina.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. But yes, in a way, we cover everywhere.
Exactly, yes, because we got two types of services. We go in-person services, such as normal chess clubs or team building days. But at the same time, we go online services. So something that happened to our business is we've been really affected by COVID.
Yeah.
As our main point at that moment, it was just in-person chess clubs. Then COVID happened. Every single school.
Everyone found a new way.
Exactly. So we have to really scrap our heads, sat there, three of us, and work out what's going to be the best course of action for the company to keep providing the service.
Really scary.
To everyone the way that we're doing. So that's when we came up with this amazing coaching platform that we have. So we got classrooms over there. We can run tournaments. So in that way, we start adapting and expanding our businesses in different ways. So just to give you an example, we have a college in Cambridge that runs through our what we call VSC. That stands for Virtual School Classrooms. Exactly. So it's a chess club for the school, digital. Yeah.
So are the boards digital as well then?
Everything is online. Yeah. Everything is on the screen, is interactive.
It's basically 4K video, crystal clear audio, or Dolby audio. You know, I mean, it's very, very good. And you can literally sit there face to face with one person. So it could be Max teaching somebody, or me, or Navi, or literally a whole group, a whole classroom of children. And that's where the VSC comes in, the virtual school classroom. So we do that.
So you're seeing them on the camera.
Yeah.
So where is the ball positioned on the screen? Can you move the ball around wherever you want? Or is the camera small for the person? I don't know why I'm asking this much detail. I'm just interested.
Absolutely.
This device, so you got the big part of the screen on the left is the board.
Right.
And then on the right side, you have the the little screen where
So
they
you can
see you
mock 'em.
or you see them, and then at the
notice,
bottom you got things like a chat that we can disable sometimes because we know if we work with primary kids, they like to just type silly things. But then we have also the leaderboards, so we can rank competitions inside competitions inside the classroom, which is great because you can explain certain topic, then just put them to do individual exercises. Yeah,
So they go in separate chess rooms or something like that?
No, they will have separate devices. So
Yeah.
They would
So
kind
they're
of
on tablets, basically.
Yeah, they're on
if you can
there,
imagine.
but they're at home, aren't they?
No, they're in the
classroom.
at school.
Oh, right, because he was talking about COVID, I
They can be
assumed.
at home, but
Yeah, right, okay.
So that brings us to another thing that we have, another service which is called the OSCC, and that stands for Online Schools Chess Club. So it is an external chess club for the kids that they cannot go to a physical chess club near in their town, or the school they don't have a chess club and they want to do an extracurricular activity outside the school, and that's where we come in with the OSCC. So that's split in different levels. We got beginners, intermediate, advanced. So we can pair them and just keep teaching them regarding the level. So you cannot, the problem that you have is when you teach different students, especially kids, and you got different levels, it's more difficult because sometimes you need to spend more time with one particular. But as we separate them in groups based on their level, it gets easier because we know that, yes, even though different kids got different learning abilities, all of them, they are in the same page.
Right,
and it's easy to move.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say about, I imagine there's quite a few online tournaments, but I imagine you can cheat a chess online tournament quite easily, couldn't you?
Well, you can if you use the engine, but the very clever thing now about the online systems that chess.com and Lead Chess and other big platforms like that provide, as well as ourselves, we have anti-cheat software. So we can actually see if you're making too many Grandmaster moves.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah. Okay. And we have caught out people in the past, not many, but we've caught them out. And it is a temptation, obviously, that people will use it. But yeah, we obviously have sanctions in place for that. So the tournaments all run very fairly and squarely. So yeah, cheats never prosper.
So the program is designed to recognise those moves because not everyone could recognise them, I imagine.
Correct.
And I find that really fascinating. How you're watching a game, you're like, oh, he's doing the move that whatever that Magnus guy is. Sorry,
Magnus Carlsen.
Carlsen.
Absolutely,
he's doing a Magnus Carlsen move there, and it's amazing how you can even recognise that. In my eyes,
you get to a certain level, like where we're at, where we will see a lot of GM moves, but it's whether we're going to play them at the right time. That's the primary difference between a Grandmaster or International Master and us. I mean, we're good club county level players. We're very high on that level. But at the end of the day, they are literally the elite, and they're so good. Their timing is just precise, unbelievably precise, and therefore it's all about accuracy. So at the end of a game, for example, I mean, Nav at the moment is just come off filming a series on BBC Two with Chessmasters, The End Game it's called. It's the latest series on BBC Two. And basically he had a game against one of his opponents, and his opponent averaged 1550, which is lower than we all are basically in theory.
I can see Nav panicking because of how much detail he's not allowed to give out. So do you want to carry on just in case he says too much?
No, that's perfect. That's good. Let's talk about the game. That's all right. That's brilliant. Thank you. No, that's good. Thank you for that.
That's okay. I haven't given anything away.
Okay.
Yeah, brilliant.
But the other key thing was off the back end of that game, Nav came out with a 2,500 score, which is effectively a Grandmaster level for that one game. Some of those moves you could argue could flow, but he still had to find them. So that was an amazing game for Nav, and obviously well above what his actual real grade is. But it shows you can put in that mega performance at times if you're just on it. The difference between a GM and us is they will put in that performance
Every time.
Consistently.
consistently.
It happens with every walk of life, whether you're playing. Like, there's times that I've played pool and I've cleared up, and then there's times I can't even bottle a leading ball, So,
absolutely.
I imagine, it's all about your brain being right in there and just seeing it all, isn't it?
Correct. And the other good thing about the online, just switching back to that, which we missed, is on our online platform, and this is why chess has become so accessible over the last few years, being on the internet. On our system, you can actually draw coloured arrows in different colours, and you can colour squares. We've got literally 4,500 plus positions that we've built into the system, and also put on ourselves that you can just ping up and quite literally explain that straight away to a group of students instantly without having to use magnetic bits, which is a nightmare, or doing it on the board, which, you've got to remember the position, you've got to go back. We might do that, but it's whether the children then, our students can keep up with that, or even an adult. It's then difficult, but on the screen, we can literally click of a button, bang, new position, clear them, new position. It's fantastic. Excellent. So that's where chess has really advanced. And that's why a lot of people are doing training at home and then coming to chess clubs. But you still can't beat proper training from people like us, because what we do is get to the crux of the matter. We see where your weaknesses are, and we can literally hit on the weaknesses and give it structure and help you with the weaknesses to get your game right almost straight away. And then you start learning how to play properly.
See, I imagine, I play a bit of golf, and I know I can wind my mate up just by questioning what score he said he's got. So if I think he's beaten me and he says, I've got a 5 on that, and I go, was it definitely a 5? Yeah, it was. I hit it there. I hit it there. And I know I've got him. He's going to lose the next few holes, right? It's so funny. But I imagine you can intimidate people from a face-to-face.
It's a psychological
warfare. Not,
Absolutely.
And probably that doesn't work as much when you're doing it online, I suppose, unless you can message them something, or the way you're looking at them. But I imagine face-to-face, it's a psychological warfare.
Well, just coming back to, obviously we're all playing competitive chess all the time, but I'm going to hand over to Nav on this one, because basically when Nav joined myself and the rest of the team at Medway Junior Chess Club, I want you to tell us about your experiences of that, but also how that's converted over to that programme that you...
I was going to give you some airtime now, because these two love a bit of chess. And I've seen them go...
Can I just say, I think I've had a lot lately.
I can see him sitting there going, when these two can give me a bleeding chance.
Well, they're probably
I'm the one that's been on TV.
No, thank you. I had a personal journey with chess, similar to Max. I played when I was little, and this was the time when computers weren't all the rage. I think there was like a tennis game that goes blip blip blip, and I just fell in love with the game. I saw the pieces and I thought, how does this move? Because I played drafts before, and then just fell in love with chess, played it a lot, and I revisited. I had a personal crisis myself, a health crisis actually, a challenge I should say, and about a few years ago I got diagnosed, and during my challenge I went to Medway Chess Club with my son, so took up chess, really loved it, got on the team. Everyone was really supportive at the club. James used to come to the club too. He had an academy, so Learn Chess Academy was there. He saw my passion for the game. I also taught my son, who's 8, Oscar, he's a brilliant player, Victor, who's 6, and those. So I got the kids' names the wrong way around. You can get trouble for that. Sorry, so Riho's 6 and Victor's 4.
Took your way out of that.
Yeah, get in trouble for that. Yeah, they're all young. And I just really enjoyed teaching. I really got a lot of satisfaction of watching Oscar grow in his gameplay. I think James noticed that Oscar was doing so well, and Oscar was also a part of the Learn Chess Academy.
Talented.
Yeah, so he's obviously seen him grow and said, look, would you like to extend that skill within the academy? And I thought that was a natural thing. And I get so much joy from watching the children at the club develop. So they come in and they're a bit nervous sometimes. By the end of it, they're really confident. It really improves their social skills. They learn a lot, and just watching them grow is really rewarding for myself. And because you get a lot of satisfaction from playing yourself, but then what can happen is when you see others also grow, that gives you a lot of satisfaction. So I fell in love with coaching. I learned so much off the gents. They got some great experience. So I honed my coaching skills. So that's my story. And then there was a show called Chess Masters. So I applied to go into Chess Masters on the BBC. Delighted to be accepted.
Did you have to play a few games to get into that? Or what?
We definitely
could apply.
Yeah, we had to. You had to be pretty solid. So there's some good players in there, and they're good club player level. Some are very good players. You've got a couple of players who represent their country. So one of them represents Scotland. I think the other one's Jersey. You've got someone who's played for Belgium, and so it's higher standard. So got selected on the TV show. I'm currently still in the show. It's a knockout series at the moment. Yeah, but I can't give away too much. So I went down to Eliminator on the first game, the first episode. Second one, Eliminator again. You've got to watch out for the third show on BBC Two at 8 o'clock.
Our lips are sealed.
Yep.
That's really good. I've got to be honest, I didn't even know that show was even on.
Yeah. Chess Masters.
So that shows you how good I am at doing my research.
It had about 1 million views on the first, which is fantastic for chess.
Do you think that film helped? Queen's Gambit?
Yeah, that helped. Yeah.
That was.
Do you reckon that boosted up like your members coming in, etc.?
It put chess more into people's attention and mind. So
because she's good looking, basically. Yeah.
Now, it would be nice, wouldn't it, if that was a real life story? It's actually based on Bobby Fischer.
Right, okay.
The real life
it's supposed to be
Fischer,
supposed to be on a girl as well.
I didn't realise that. Okay.
Yeah, suppose she was. Someone sued Netflix for that.
Oh, really?
That's how it was. Yeah. But I mean, one of the things that why the Queen's Gambit helped so much to put chess into people's mind, and this is why us as a company and as a coaches we want to break is this misconception about chess. You mentioned chess, and the first word that comes to people's mind is it's boring. Straight away. Oh, I cannot sit on a chair and look at the board for an hour and a half. Which we understand that.
I've never experienced that. It's usually 10 minutes is over for me. Story of my life, fellas. I've got 5 kids.
If you're playing him,
but that's why we come in and trying to break these misconceptions. So many kids come to us and are like, I don't play chess. Chess is boring. And then after they do 1 or 2 sessions with us, they look at us and are like, wow, I want to carry on doing this. Or I didn't know that it was so much fun. So that's one of the main goals that we have, and that's why again the Queen's Gambit helped it so much, because all of a sudden people were thinking, well, it's COVID time and this is a board game, we can play more as a family, and then they start realizing, hey, maybe this is not as boring as we think it was, and then you just change your perspective into it, and this is again, it's the break point for us, because we as a company focus on the educational side of the game. As I say, all of the coaches that we have got marked by chess. So chess does something for us. It makes something click on us. And that's what we really want to transmit to everyone. For us, it's not about creating masters. Yeah, if you want to create a master, go and book a GM and that's it. I don't mind. For us, it's about making people understand, hey, you can achieve so much in your life if you use this tool. Yeah. We're just providing a tool and the way that we teach the tool.
And of course, if we do get a child that's talented, we're never going to stop them from being really good. So this is really worth pointing out. But we can get 4 or 5-year-olds that come to us and just have a natural talent. And if they're really good, they could be beating a 10 or 11-year-old, because chess is completely ageless. Yeah. The thing about chess is it doesn't matter what age you are. It's not a physical thing. It's all up here. It's all about knowledge. So if you've got that knowledge, you can play. So we've seen instances, as you've seen at Medway Junior Chess Club. We've got a young lad over there who you may remember with the glasses, and he was just demon, and he's beating 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds at the moment, and he's only about 7, just like us, your son. It's unbelievable. But I mean, just coming back to the point that Nav was making, and also what Max was saying there, chess is really good for well-being, and it's always been, for me, and I know for these guys, it's always been a constant in my life from quite a young age. I mean, I started myself when I was 8. My dad just got a chessboard out and went, "Oh, let's try and play chess." And after I beat him, I don't think we were playing properly. We probably even had the black square in the right-hand corner and not the light square, but there you go. And that's very important, you see.
Never knew that was important.
Light is right, and white queen on her own colour, black queen on her own colour square. And
I've got a story about that.
Sits up, yeah.
I've got a story about that. I knew that the queens go on their own colour.
Yeah.
And my wife Rachel, who's usually here, so I can take the piss because she's not. I told her that
we've seen her on there.
Even though how old is chess? Thousands of years, isn't it? I can't remember.
It's very difficult to put.
No one. I don't know when it dates back to.
5 AD or something.
Really?
Persian almanac, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, off the top of my head, yeah.
Right, because it's that old, I told her this. I said, now the queen's passed away and we've got a king, it's now the king goes on its correct colour. Right? Because I just like winding her up with stuff, and the amount of people she told. And she went to her mum one day, did you know that because now the queen's died? And her mum went, oh, Rachel. dear Rachel.
Absolutely. I mean, I think when it comes down to it, a lot of kids come along with, like Max is saying, a misconception, not about being it boring, but about the king always going on its own colour square. So maybe now the king's in place, we could start putting the king on its own colour square. But the amount of times that we hear them say, "Oh yeah, my granddad or my dad tells me the king goes on its own colour square," we have to obviously correct that. Yeah, and I mean, even down to the fact that the board has all the pieces have values, and a lot of them just don't know what values they are. So we have to obviously make sure that's in place. But like I say, chess is great for well-being. And after I started playing my dad, when I was 8, it was about 7 or 8 years later that I then was reintroduced back into chess, because chess wasn't around in my day. It was literally just seen as sort of like something that, every school had a chess club, but it was really just a few kids.
You were just taught the moves. But you wasn't taught like how to castle or anything like that. That's I'm still not 100% sure how you castle.
Okay, and I can show you, no problem.
and Queen's Gambit, that's another one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And even though I've watched the film, I still don't know how to do that. So I love the film, but if you've got to be really into it.
What actually is the Queen's Gambit? I know what it is, but I just thought we'd let the audience know so they'll know the technicals behind it. So do you want to just talk it through?
Here we go.
So basically, what I would say is I will give shots.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go for it.
Demo it. Yeah, sorry,
we can describe it.
Yeah, so this is what actually the Queen's Gambit is.
Now remember, some people just listen to this podcast and don't just watch it. So,
so the idea of the Queen's Gambit is usually after D4 and D5. Yeah,
that's another thing I want you to explain to me. So is it A, B, C, D, and then so 1, 2, 3, 4?
Right, okay. You see the files.
Yep,
the files are
so grid lines
with letters.
Yeah.
And then you got the ranks, which are the rows.
1, 2, 3, all the way down to 8.
With numbers.
So, but is this one now called D4 from its next move? You call it wherever it starts off. So you see what I mean? Because I've never had to use
coordinates, basically. So you just write down the coordinate with the pawns. Yeah?
Right,
so when a pawn moves, it's just the coordinate. Yeah. And when you move a piece, you put the capital letter of that piece, except for the knight, because the K is being taken by the king.
Right.
The knight goes by N.
Right,
and then you just put the name of the square where you're moving that piece. So, for example, let's say that I'm going to move the knight. Yeah, that will be knight to F3. Knight, F, N, F3. That means the knight moves to the square F3.
So it doesn't matter which knight you're describing. Do you see what I mean?
No, it does. Because, for example, if you have two pieces that they can go to the same square,
place, yes.
You need to specify which
location
of those
first.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So let me give you an example. You got the two knights.
Knight on C3 and knight to E2.
Knight to C3.
Let's do this. You put a knight on C3.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. How's that?
My question. Another question. Does it all start from the white side, the gridding, or is this a C4? Is this a C4?
If you're setting up correctly, you should always have white on ranks 1 and 2. So A is on the left, H is on the right, and for black, A will be on the right, H will obviously be over here.
So they
on
work
the
backwards on the other side.
Yeah, and it will be 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Obviously, all our boards have the coordinates on them.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is D4.
Yes.
Is it, so to this player, it's also D4.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
You will
that's
see the same.
when they play their
the Queen's
D5.
pawn. So
Yeah.
that,
Just because I'm a child, I'm going to point to a square, and the first one to say what that square is wins. Right?
Okay,
Ready?
well then. B5.
Yes. Funny enough, there is a training. There is a
Okay,
training.
we're out of whack, sorry.
There is a chess brain training that you do. Is that usually you close your eyes and you picture the board in your head, and then you just tell yourself squares, and what you need to do is basically tell the color of that square. So B5, white square, C4, white square.
Because it's always going to be
G7,
that.
dark square, and so on. Yeah?
Okay, so I'm assuming I was 90 degrees out when I set them up. Did I set them up with that king over there?
You had the black square in the right corner, so the white one. So that
I bet
put
you
it all out.
threw up, didn't you, when you come and saw that? It was like, oh my God.
But I came in straight away tonight. That's the wrong way round.
I didn't even notice it.
I'm trying to be nice.
I was like, the pieces are nice. I was just
no props or any other guests, and then you just slag me off for putting it in. I don't know. Sorry, you were talking about
the Gambit. So the idea of the Gambit is, in this case, is you push the pawn to c4, and you can see that the pawn on d5 straight away attacks that pawn. But the whole point of a Gambit is that pawn it looks so far free to take. Yeah, white cannot capture this pawn back.
Yeah.
So the idea of Gambits is you usually give away one or
Sacrifice.
2 pawns, in order to get something in return. So what we're trying to say here is, if the pawn on d5 captures straight away, which this will be a Queen's Gambit accepted because black is taking the pawn. Yep. All of a sudden, you notice that in the central files, the Queen's file, well, you can pick up the pawn quickly if you want to, but the whole point is white delays the idea of picking up the pawn.
For development.
Exactly. You can push this pawn in front of the king 2 squares or sometimes 1 square, and then we will see that white has a better center than black. That's the compensation that you get for losing the pawn.
Always go to the top of the hill, basically.
And then the bishop is already hitting the pawn, so you might want to develop the bishop by capturing the pawn back.
I see.
There are ways that black can just hold the pawn if this pawn on b7 moves to b5.
To defend it.
Yes. So
but every time you move a pawn, it can never go back.
Yes,
so
that's right.
If you moved b5, show that square again. If you move b5, you notice that suddenly that queen side is looking a little bit airy over there. Okay, there's a bit of air coming in there. So black will have to be careful later, potentially, that the construction of his pawn chains, if you like, or trying to just defend that pawn and not cater for the fact these pawns are all attacking those immediate 4 squares on F, E, D and C5, that actually is going to be quite detrimental to black unless he can get ahead of steam on that queen side now or get back to the centre. It's all about being at the top of the hill to attack.
So you're talking about the attack and defend earlier on. Yep. Are there certain pieces that you definitely know are defenders and certain ones that you would definitely use as attackers?
Absolutely. I mean, they're all attacking and defending pieces, even pawns, believe it or not. But in some kind of way to start the game off, never move up the sides, simply because if you do, say that comes up the side, see this bishop over here?
Comes straight along.
Targeting that square. As soon as the rook comes up, and this is what you see all the juniors doing, and you'll remember this from Medway. You're probably seeing some of the games yourself.
I was too busy eating sweets, to be honest. But
actually think about it.
We wonder where the Haribo's
we just had the parents use it as excuse to go to the garage and just buy loads of food.
That's okay. No worries. So the rook here is worth 5. The bishop is actually only 3. So as soon as that appears there, if you're playing well and you've developed to the centre, bang, bishop takes rook. Black there is already gaining 2 points.
See, I've learned something else there. I didn't know they were things.
Yes. So you got an absolute value of the pieces. Pawns are 1, knights and bishops are 3 points, rooks are 5 points, and queens are 9 points. But then you got the relative value of the pieces. So a knight very well placed in enemy territory where he cannot be kicked out by a piece that is worth the same. Sometimes he worth more. Yeah.
Right.
So if the only piece that can kick up a knight from certain square is a rook, all of a sudden your knight is not 3 points, it's 5.
It's a little bit like footy sometimes, because you've got the king side, the queen side, and the centre. So if you're attacking through the middle, sometimes people play on the wing to counteract, and the other way around.
This is my kind of talk.
Well, actually, that brings up a really good point, because basically what you're doing, chess is great for helping children and adults alike, learning how to manage literally a team, because you are managing 16 pieces, which are your team members on that board. So literally the positions where you put them is invaluable. So it's a great skill set for when you come to the football pitch, like Alex Ferguson from Man U said, if I could get every single one of my footballers to have chess coaching before they go on the pitch, that's the ideal scenario, because I want them to be aware of tactics, which are set pieces,
quick
and
thinking,
strategy, which is the position. And this helps you understand that methodology of when to just throw something away or when to keep it, when to be patient, when to go on the attack, when to just
build
drop
up
back,
patiently,
build up patiently,
Adapt to different tactics.
Correct. And this is all about pattern recognition. So this applies to almost anything you're doing, whether it's martial arts, football, every single other discipline you can think of in a sporting sense. This gives you that ability, that skill set.
Not only the strategical and tactical point of view of that, but it also helps with the mindset. Because we always said, and this is a very funny fact, there is no luck in chess. No. It's not like you play football and you kick the ball up in the air and it could go
no
forward
dice
or
in the game.
Exactly.
In chess, it's only you and your opponent. Or you capitalize from your opponent's mistake, or you make your mistakes. It's you who moves.
It is brutal.
It's life teaching, really. It teaches you to step back from a situation.
Self-accountability. And that's what we want to transmit to people, and that's what we say. We want to encourage people to play more chess. For that fact, don't play just for the game. Don't play for win or losing. Play to exercise your mind and to get better in your well-being, as James was saying. One example that I could give is we used to have this kid a few years ago in one of the schools that we teach, and he started chess from zero. So he didn't know how the pieces move. Then he got how the pieces move, started playing games, and he was losing. And every time that he used to lose, he was crying. He used to do the club twice a week, and every time that his grandparents used to come and pick him up, he was on tears, completely tears.
His grandparents were thinking, what's going on in chess club?
We kept encouraging him, don't worry, it's part of the process, just trust the process. Then he started playing better, he started not losing so quickly, but he started losing his queen, which is very discouraging, So again, on tears.
9 points until off the board.
All of a sudden, something clicked. He became school champion at some point.
Right.
And that shows the persistence. That shows when you put the effort, yes, you're gonna go through hard times. That's in every part of your life, whatever you do, whatever job you do, whatever business you have.
That's how you deal with it.
It's exactly that's how do you deal with it, the mindset for it.
It's like I was going to say earlier, the resilience. I had a bad time in my life. I went through divorce. Business went tits up. I mean, basically everything that could go wrong was going wrong. I lost money, everything. But chess was that one key factor that was just there for me every week, that I just kept going on. And it was so good for my mental well-being to have that one key factor that could keep me going, keep me focused, and give me pleasure at the same time. Because when you go on the chessboard, and you'll see it on this program that Nav's on, they're saying you become one with the board. You literally do. There's moments where I've been in a chess match, and at the start, you're like that, you're moving pieces and you're aware of everything going on around you, and you're not really focused in those first 5 or 6 moves. You're trying to focus, but you're not actually focused. Focused is this. One of our chess coaches, Mark, came and sat down literally not quite next to me, because you're not allowed to sit next to somebody, but it was towards the end of a match. So he was sitting in player number 2 seat, and I was playing this guy. This was over at Raynham, and I didn't even know Mark was there in those last 10 moves I was playing. I was that zoned in, and that's what I mean. It is so good for you, because you literally lose all the noise and the crap that's going on around you, all the pressure and the stresses of everyday life. When you're in the car, oh God, forget it. Now I drive like this. I'm chilled out because
I love that.
when you play chess, you learn to be patient. You learn to accept other people's misgivings. You don't rant at them. You just rant below your breath and go, you know, and you just let them carry on and go. If you're in a hurry, that's great, but on your head be it. I'm just going to chill out. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing chess, yeah, you have to learn to be patient. You have to also learn to play quickly as well, especially speed chess. But that whole thing about the chess, it's so good for the well-being. And like I say, when you're at that board and you know you are totally focused and you've lost everything else, is when you don't even know or see that somebody's come and sat next to you and there's a crowd of 20 people around you at the end of the game watching you. That's how intense it can be. But my God, at the end, your heart is going crazy because you could literally have 4 moves left that you've got to find in 20 seconds. And I tell you what, the adrenaline rush is like nothing you would have ever experienced. And I'm not just saying that, it is mad. And if you win, oh my God, you're literally you're so ecstatic. One of the ladies that we taught that also was doing a lot of coaching with us, she was actually an adult that used to have a lot of coaching with us, and she joined a chess club in the end, so became a club player like us, but she was a beginner at the start. Took her 3 years to get there, but she said the first win she ever had, she was absolutely couldn't believe. She said, literally, my mind was racing till 3 or 4 in the morning because it generated so much mental energy, good energy. And she said, quite literally, I couldn't believe how amazing chess was. She said, I've never experienced a high like it, you know. And she had done lots of sports and, you know, taught piano and all sorts of things, but she said chess gave me more of a high than anything else.
Do you relive matches that you've lost and think, why did I do that? Why didn't I do that?
God, yeah.
Because I do it with comedies that I've shot, and why did I shoot it like that? Why did I do that angle? What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Even my speech, my wedding speech, I still made it better after the wedding.
Well, that's
I went back and rewrote it after the, just in case, you know, I've been married twice, so you never know. The third one, I might, you know, get it right, you know.
You're one more than me.
Well, there you go.
I think it's a good point. If you're playing like a big match and you lose, it can feel like you've just lost a penalty shootout at the World Cup or something like that.
2 or 3 hours.
And you're reliving it like you know, it's hit the post or something. You can't stop thinking about hitting the post.
It's with everything though. It means that much to you. You will relive it.
Yes.
And have you guys ever lost it, or have you ever experienced it kick off a chess match?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I keep mentioning Medway as we're in the local area, but at Medway, I was playing a sort of fill-in match for Medway the other week, and I've been playing for about 2 and 3/4 hours. Got towards the end of a game, and there was a key move I needed to make with the queen, and I wanted to get it down to the bottom to check the king. And so I noticed the white diagonal was available. I had 27 seconds on my clock left. My opponent, bear in mind, 15 seconds added for every time you press it. So I was aware I could get my time back. But I rushed this one move just to get the queen on the correct colour diagonal. And my opponent had about 1 minute 27. So it would have panned out that I was actually winning the game. I was up definitely on the position, but I literally threw my queen away, which, as club players, we rarely do, but under time pressure, anything's possible. Yeah. And quite literally, I put it on the wrong square and I just went like that. And he smiled, took the piece, went, I'm so sorry. And I went, oh, for sake, literally. Yeah. And it sort of rang out in the club. I think, were you there that night? I can't remember.
So, yeah. Oh.
And I was like, sorry, but it was funny because everybody knows the pressure we're under being chess players. So it can get very intense, very dramatic. And if you're ever watching a quick play game, like 5 minutes each way, 3 minutes each way, 1 minute each way, 10 minutes each way, like they've got on your program. But basically, you know, the thing is, at the end of the game, when the time's up against you, that's when you really see people like, oh God, and the stress. So yeah, it's happened to me. I've come away from quite a few matches where I've been in time pressure situations, and felt very.
Anyone thrown the ball up in the air? And
I've seen a board flip.
I've almost broken a pen.
Yeah, I've seen a board flip recently, and I'm not going to name the player out of respect, but he promoted one of his pieces, the pawn. So when the pawn gets to the end, you can choose whatever piece you want it to be.
Surely everyone chooses the queen, don't they?
Depends on the situation, but most of the time.
98% of the time you'll take a queen.
Yeah.
1% the knight, when the king's stuck in the corner. So you get a checkmate if the king's stuck via the L shape. That's the time you take a knight, and you take a rook and a bishop if you need a stalemate. That's a whole other scenario. And guys, we can obviously train you on that one.
Of course.
So yeah, rook and bishop for when it's like half a sentence.
Sorry, carry on with your story.
So what happened was
I'm really good at jumping.
He was a master, and so what he's done is when he's got to the end of the board, he just put a rook there, but turned it upside down and said it was a queen. And then it got captured, and then the adjudicator said, no, sorry, it doesn't matter if you put the rook upside down or not upside down, it's not actually a queen. So he was absolutely furious and actually board flipped and left the tournament, which is quite dramatic. And he had a spare queen next to him, that was the right one. He just put the rook upside down and just told a person that. And that's something that you do in an amateur game when you haven't got an extra spare queen.
Yeah.
And then he actually rage quit, threw the board off and ran out of the tournament. So a lot of drama, yeah. So, but it's all that James was talking about earlier. It's all that added pressure, and it suddenly explodes towards the end because, like you were saying about the time, it's like you've been grinding away for 1 hour and 20 minutes, and the last 10, it really, really is frantic. It's like injury time and extra time, and things can happen.
I imagine it's like that with everything, though, but under a time limit. Well, football under a time limit. Mistakes are made. Start going back in defence, don't they? If they're holding a lead or holding a draw or something like that. So yeah, that's brilliant. Really enjoyed this podcast, guys. So tell us how. So imagine I'm taking my son to one of your classes. What will he experience when he first comes?
Fun.
I love that.
Well, actually,
I love the way you all looked at Max.
No, let's answer this. But I mean, let's answer this. You go first, then you, and then I'll.
We think.
We've got different things going on here. So.
I think all the points that we raised in the podcast. So the child comes into the class, he meets new people, which is the social element we haven't mentioned before. So, and it's great to see how the kids bond with each other, make friends with each other, and it's healthy competition in that sense. The improvement factor obviously makes sense, but what I really love about it is how much they concentrate, because nowadays when I've got 3 boys, and when they're quiet in the house, I go, what's going on? But they're actually playing chess sometimes, and it's a world now where we're actually competing against YouTube, screen time, and it's just fantastic seeing the kids come in and able to sit down and concentrate for a long period of time, rather than just watching YouTube shorts, which are 12 seconds, 13 seconds. So yeah, you see so much development. But what I really love about it is seeing the kids and the children concentrate. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
My opinion, and this is a funny thing, our chess clubs are not very well categorized for being the quietest one.
They're fun.
Energy. It's not energy.
Because
lots of energy.
it's something. So when you teach primary students, you want to connect with them in order for them to be engaged, and this is where sometimes education doesn't go the best way that it should be for everyone to be engaged on what you're learning. To learn something new, you need to be engaged, and that's where the fun element that we use, it comes into play a lot. And that's where kids feel so comfortable that sometimes they don't realize that they're learning something. For them, they're just having so much fun. They're having a really good laugh. But then, as I say, your brain pick up more when you're a kid. You picked up a lot of things without realizing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's your brain absorbing all of that.
Just turns, but that's like kids with languages.
That's sponges.
But that's why it's so important, the engaging factor there. And that's why the fun, the laugh, them to say, I'm having really good time. Then the learning comes as a second.
Well, if it's like a proper tournament and like an exam, you know what I mean? Quiet, and they're not going to enjoy it, are they?
Well, that's where before you carry on, something that you just mentioned there. Yeah. We don't like to test.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. That's where we feel like we don't want that. We don't want to go that route, because we know the stress that generates, even though when you grow up, you are tested all the time. But that's an ability that you're going to develop with the pass of time. The first step to properly learn.
You've got to learn to lose.
Of course. You've got to learn to lose. Failing is the best teacher, always. That's what I always say.
You've got to lose the first before you become a winner.
Make your mistake.
That's true, though.
Yes, and that's the best. That's one of the things that chess is so good. And that's what you were saying, that you regret. Yes, we all have regrets, but at the same time, we're humans. Learning by failing is the best teacher that we can have. And I mean, during you think you got a teenager girl. When I was a teenager and I thought I was on the top of the wave, the best way that my parents used to teach me things was like, my parents were saying A and I was just saying B, just to go opposite what they say.
Yeah.
So what they decided to do is say to me, okay, see that wall? That's the wall. Go and crush it. As hard as you can, just smash your head there. Yeah? By doing what you
parenting.
Well, what my point is, they decide to
Is that why Maradona was so short?
Well, you think that sometimes when you're a teenager, you think that you are there. You think that you know best than anyone. And that's what I say. This is why that failing teaching, you try your way, and then you realize, hey, maybe my parents were right when they were saying this to me. And that's when your parents, they say, okay, are you done? Yes, okay. Well, we can sit now and talk. That's what I say. And that's the beauty of chess.
Get it out. Yeah. Get it out of the system.
Yes.
I'm going to answer it in a more corporate way now. So I'm going to take the company line just so that parents and children and schools know what to expect from us. So we are all about having fun. And these guys have summed up brilliantly. What people can expect when they come to one of our clubs is basically children for the first few minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, depending on the class time that we've got, will play some general games so that we can wander around, see who's obviously got some really good moves, who needs a little bit more help, and give some general guidance. From seeing those, because we don't follow a set curriculum, but we have all the information and all the exercises there, so we can tailor our classes and be a bit more flexible, because it's all about being flexible. We can see what they need to learn, and obviously they need to learn a plethora of things. Naturally, we're all still learning. We're never going to ever stop learning at chess, even Grandmasters. But that we can zone in on a subject that is key on that day, sort of like an opening or checkmates or learning about stalemate or whatever it is, yeah? Things that people don't necessarily know, yeah? And we go on screen after that. So we pick up from wandering around, go on screen with our online platform, and we don't obviously use the video at that point, but we use the board with all the coloured arrows and everything. Yeah. And after that, they then get the tournament. And from the tournament, at the end of term, kids receive brilliant J-glass trophies, absolutely stunning. They're like that thick, this big, 5.5 inch diameter. Put them up too high. Yeah, don't do that. Put them down if you win one of those guys, okay? Because if they smash, you'll be calling us and we'll be getting you another one, because they go into all sorts of pieces. Yeah. Everyone gets a beautiful, well done medal as well. They look great. First, second and third, obviously replica, gold, silver, bronze. Everyone gets a stunning designed certificate, and we always make them so about 200 GSM, so they're really nice, quite thick. They're nice, laminated, full colour, and often with the names actually printed on, because as long as we know who we've got in the class in advance, we can do that as well. And then, what have I missed anything in terms of sweets tournament?
Sweets tournament.
Oh, sweets every week.
I mean,
every week.
Haribo's every week. That's the only reason the parents went.
At our house at the moment, literally, I've got a box like this. I've got two of them. I mean, it's madness.
I have an observation, right?
Yeah,
and
go on.
You may think I'm taking the piss, but I just found it hilarious, and I used to say it to the parents as well. So you rock up, we're there while you're setting up, and then it's like a hall, isn't it? Like a village hall type thing with a bit of a stage, isn't it?
That's for external clubs of a evening. Otherwise, it's at school.
Well, you may have answered this then for me, but we always said, like, because you were like, oh, the banner's not up, get the banner up.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Get the banner
up. And I'm
up,
thinking,
absolutely.
why is this
the banner man?
This is my observation. And I said it to the others and they laughed. I said, why is he bothered about the banner when we already know there's a chess club here? Why isn't the banner outside telling people there's a chess club here?
Because it'll blow over. It's not weatherproof.
I understand that.
It's not Rio.
But we already know it's a chess club. We're there.
I know. It's more, in my opinion, because the marketing advertising background. I love a good pop-up stand. I love a pop-up banner. But it's all about presentation. Yeah, I'm giving it a flagship at the end. Otherwise, you've just got an empty stage with a load of clutter on.
And that's why you're a marketing man, you see.
That's why, we're marketing and sales. I hate to say it, but we put that up there so people can see it. And so that if there's anybody that comes in that is a new parent, they can obviously take, in other words, if they've just come in on the off chance saying, I want to do a taster, if we haven't booked them in and registered them beforehand, which we need to do really for safeguarding purposes, we'll obviously take their details there and then, but they can see straight away that we're a proper
You can also rock up at the wrong place and go, is this the right place? Oh, yeah, look, there it is.
Exactly.
So was.
That's why we put.
We
the banner
were
up,
starting as parents to bring little bottles of wine in. Yeah. So it was end of one of those.
You're all getting pissed down the other end while we're working really hard.
Because what can we get away with? What can we get away with while they're doing this with our kids? We started bringing wine in. We worked out that the BP garage up the road sold wine, which is perfect. Right, guys, this is something we do. Right, we usually have one visitor in, and we give them 4 questions. So I want you to all pick 2 out from here, and they're really random, nothing to do with chess.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're bizarre. And then see if you can answer them, right?
Two each?
2 each.
I'll keep it hidden.
Because I know how much you two should have half each, the amount you two talk.
I know. We do talk a lot.
Only chess keeps them quiet.
Yeah, exactly. When we play chess,
You're quiet
it's
as
the
anything.
quietest we've ever been. Yeah.
Well, that's why you want to talk when you finish then.
I'll have that one. I'm going to have that one.
Random now.
Oh, hang on. Have I got more than one there? I've got one.
Yeah, they're all folded in half.
Thank you, Simon.
No worries.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, who's going first?
Can we pivot?
Go on then, Nav.
Well, what you got, Nav?
I've got. What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten, and did you like it? I'd say it's not an easy question to answer. I'd say probably snails, frogs' legs, and I've had kangaroo. I think
I've had kangaroo.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, so I'd say kangaroo's the weirdest because you can't go to Tesco's and just pick up kangaroo meat. So I was in Australia at my.
I believe you can now.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely Seven Oaks seem to have weird stuff.
I'd be vegetarian if I could, but I do like meat too much. I've got to admit. So it's a tough one because I always think of the animals and it guts me really. But yeah,
It guts them and all.
Well, no, you know what I mean. It's like your parents just bring you up on lamb and beef, and one day you go, "What? So is this actually from a sheep?" And they go, gingerly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll tell you what,
I'm eating a sheep. Yes, and you think, oh well, it tastes nice. Okay, all right.
I've made a terrible mistake.
You feel bad.
Do you know what?
Good.
This is my terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Those two are going to answer your bleeding questions as well.
We're quite engaging.
I want.
I'm going to be quiet now.
Give us one back each. No.
I think it's answer. I'm going to let you guys do one next, and I'm going to jump in and all. I'm going to keep this one.
Then. Go on, Max.
Max, your
Go on,
turn.
your turn.
I got. What's the most embarrassing thing you ever Google?
You don't want to know what you do.
How to run into brick walls.
Difficult to say what's the most embarrassing thing that I ever Googled. I think it was something silly to get to the house. I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
No comment.
He's taking the easy option.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah.
I'm dreading what mine's going to say. Here we go. If aliens landed on Earth and invited you to leave, would you go?
As long as you've got your chest pulled, I imagine.
The answer to that for me would be no. I love living on Earth. I think Earth is great.
You haven't seen any other planet.
I haven't seen any other planets. I do think that something's gone wrong somewhere along the line recently, but without getting political, and it's gone wrong for a long time, I just think that, yes, the world needs to be kinder. Full stop to each other. There needs to be a bit more kindness. Yes, we've all got to make money, but I think generally speaking, the world needs to actually be a little bit kinder to each other. We've lost the plot.
Well, the world is like a rush, isn't it? Everyone's driving. Even though they're not driving, everyone's driving. Things are faster. Everyone's more impatient.
Yeah.
And just need to slow down.
They need to actually play this game to understand that.
He's still marketing
it's about,
it. Even with that, I give him an alien question. I give him an alien question. He still brings it back to the learning chess. Amazing.
He'll teach the aliens.
Right, question 2.
Go on then. Oh, he's going for questions.
Go on, you go.
He took one back. Yeah.
Go on, you go. Then I'll answer your one.
I just want to see what it said.
Apart from the Google one.
Have you ever had the brush with death? What happened?
I know the answer to this. You're running towards a wall.
Oh, yeah, jungle.
To be honest, yes, kind of in a way.
That's a good one for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So it goes back to my survival from cancer. I think, really close to death, last minute treatment. And then it just, I think What's the last part of the question?
Sorry to jump in, Max.
happened?
You can still answer.
What happened?
This is
It was a really challenging time. You think it's all over, but I think once I was going through it, I thought you could take the most of it and actually start living. So I spent a lot of time with family, appreciating the smaller things, because we get, like you said earlier, we get caught up with life and how frantic it is, and then you're just happy if you see a sunrise, if you wake up the next day, you love and appreciate your missus and children. So I think sometimes it's part of life. You have death, and it's just you get reminded of it, whether it's someone else who's passed away or something like that, or a lovely memory of someone. So the key takeaway is learn to live while you're here. I think that's really good. Because it can happen any time. It's not something that you plan for, prepare, and it's something that happens to someone else. But I think it's an inevitability of life. It's like chess. All the pieces, whether you're king or the queen or the rook, they all go back in the same box. Sounds a bit morbid, but you have fun while they're out, and then you just get packed up again.
No, you're right. You're right. So you're fully recovered.
Yeah, fully in remission. Yeah, so it's great. So I'm
excellent.
Yeah,
Really
back to
pleased.
fitness. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Do you want to answer it?
Yeah, no, I didn't have like a really brush with death. A part of almost being crushed by a bus, and
that's close.
good enough.
That's pretty apart from being crushed by a bus,
it's not as deep as Nav says, because when you go through what he's gone, or any person who's dealing with an illness of that way, you really rethink your life. For me, it was more that rush moment that your heart is beating at 1,000 miles per hour, but you're not thinking about, I should be paying more attention on my family, or I should be more focused on simple things in life and not get stressed about just the mundane things that happens day by day. So it's not as deep as him.
Okay. But you still made it last longer. And all it was a poxy bus.
I'm 35, yeah?
It's got a lot to say.
Number 35 in Maidstone. What was it? I don't know. Don't get that bus.
Are all the questions done?
Well, I've got one more.
We've got one more. Right.
Just to finish off, here we go. If you could live in any historical period, which would it be and why? Oof, God. Well, I'd like to think that I was once royal. So I think that would be a good starting point.
The king. I knew it. I was going to say
with my surname, with my surname, that's possible. So, which period would I have lived in? Goodness me. It's a tricky one. I don't think I want to. Well, I say I don't want to go to the future. You can't go to the future really. But if we went back to a particular point, I think the 1920s jazz vibe was unbelievable. That period was quite brilliant.
That's quite a good answer, actually. Yeah. A lot of people will either go further back or say, "No, I'm happy where I am."
Yeah, I love jazz. Yeah. So but
I also don't like horse crap, and the roads were filled with it.
People throw things out the window.
And I think from that point of view, but I think the underground scene of the jazz clubs, back in the 20s to 30s, Art Deco period was lovely. Yeah. Unfortunately, after that, as we know, we had the war. So that's the reason I wouldn't want to go back there. But if I could, if any period, then yes, it would probably be that. Because
you had World War I by then.
Yeah, well, that was over. But 1920s. That was over, thank goodness. But it was a swinging time. It was quite cool. I love the freedom of that time. I think that would be a pretty good.
Cool. Thanks, fellas. Right, one more question for you all. We have a podcast playlist, and we give each guest a record that they want to be put on the playlist. One song that means something to you.
Oh, wow.
I would say Kings and Queens by Ava of Axe. I think that's her name.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so that's the theme tune for the BBC song, and it's a chess song, and it's really uplifting. That would be one of my ones.
Cool.
Yeah, nice. Kings and Queens.
I will go with... it has to be nothing related
anything.
To anything.
Anything you want.
So there is this band that I've been listening lately, which is called Royal Otis. They are from Australia.
Royal Otis?
Royal Otis,
okay.
Yes. Royal is the name of one of the guys. Otis is the name of the other one.
Oh, okay.
There you go. And they got an amazing cover of Murder on the Dance Floor.
All right, okay.
Which is amazing. But then if one of their songs, it will be Sofa King.
Sofa King.
Sofa King, yeah. That's the name of the song.
I was like, am I bleeping that out or what? Sofa King. Sofa King. Oh, God, I'm going to use that in comedy, that. Sofa
that's
King.
brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, there is actually a company called Sofa King.
Yeah. Sofa
Need to be chess related as well.
I love that.
Okay.
I love
yours.
Mine's an easy one. I also like, apart from liking a bit of jazz, I do like a bit of dance and quite a lot of the old slamming 90s tracks because, that was my era for the night clubbing. So Back to Life, Back to Reality by Soul to Soul.
Oh, that's a good one.
What a kicker that is. He knew that anyway.
I was going there. I mean,
Do you play it all the time?
Yeah.
Is that his walk-on music on chess?
Back to
It'd be funny if you guys had walk-on music. Oh, excellent.
We
Right,
just have
okay.
loads of fun at Learn Chess Academy, and so do our students.
Excellent. Right, so thank you very much for coming on. Really enjoyed chatting with you guys. You've made it really interesting. Just tell everyone how they can find Learn Chess Academy.
Yep. You can find us at www.learnchess.co.uk. You can ring our free phone number 0808 123 64 64. You can find us also via my mobile, which will probably be somewhere on the site or advertised somewhere. But yes, that's the best way to get hold of us. Hit option 1 when you call us on free phone, or you can email us at admin@learnchess.co.uk, or you come through to me at jameshd at learnchess.co.uk.
Or you could Google it like Max does.
Or Google it, yes.
Learn Chess
Top of the
Academy.
rankings.
Not weird, but wonderful.
You're the first, James, you're the first.
That was good.
James, you're the first person to say 3 W's.
Oh, yeah. www.
Some people just leave it out now, don't they?
I know.
If it's got a .com on it, they tend to know,
I
don't
just
they?
go through W's. But
Okay.
that's it. That's how
We're
you get
done.
hold of us. Or just if you see us around in our tops, then by all means
Give us a shout.
give us a shout. Say hi, and we'll get you a free taster session. And that's key. It's we give free taster sessions, whether it's online, whether it's in person at school, whether it's at one of the external chess clubs like Ted came along to. So yeah,
Brilliant. Okay, thank you once again for all coming on. Really enjoyed that, actually.
Thank
really
you.
good.
It's brilliant.
Nice
Cheers.
bunch of lads. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But they were. So thanks again. We'll see you all soon. www.cherrywoodpodcast.com. And we also could be still, unless they ban me, on KMTV. So thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. Perfect. Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Brilliant. That was
Enjoy
really
it?
good. Thank you.
Yes, mate. Thank you very much.
James' next job is going to be selling Learn Chess Academy on QVC.
Club Awesome, for autistic children and their families, a place where everyone belongs and fun knows no age limit.
Today's sponsors are
Bond Carpentry, where precision meets creativity.
From bespoke cupboards to second fix carpentry, garden houses, and even the Cherrywood Podcast sign. Call 07738 732 931.
Bond Carpentry, licensed to drill.
This podcast has been brought to you by Snug Dubs Camper Van Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk.
Need stunning video or photography for your big day or even your business? Cherrywood Production delivers award-winning results with a personal touch. From weddings to promotional content, we turn your vision into reality. Visit cherrywoodpro.com today. Your memories, our passion.